Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Podcast Pundits. I'm Dre Man, back in the hot seat today. I'll be hosting, as you already know, avid Man United fan. Season's done. We won't go into that, so let's quickly go around the room. We're in a virtual room today with two special guests, but we'll start with the usual. Della.
Yo, Della Strada. Yeah, PSG from the jump, baby. That's how we do. You know what I do? Just here to collect trophies and medals in it. So yeah, happy to be here. All of the boys. So yeah, let's get into it, man.
I had a funny feeling you was going to wear that PSG top today.
But I've got clothes to wear, so I'm going to wear it when it's appropriate, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. And then moving on to our next guest, special guest Malx. Introduce yourself. Who do you support?
Hey, Malx, or aka Bitcoin by Malx. Obviously Liverpool supporter, but I've also got my Nigeria scarf from the Unity Cup. Big few weeks for Liverpool and Nigeria because Nigeria beat two of their biggest haters, Ghana and Jamaica. And obviously Liverpool, we won the league, so we're nice. But yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast and looking forward to chopping it up with you guys.
Yeah,
What's no Malx? By us beating Jamaica. And by us beating Ghana, that means Jollof is Nigeria. And by us beating Jamaica, that means what rice and peas is now Nigerian.
I guess so. Johnny,
what have you got now?
Speak to that. Johnny can speak to that. What are you saying, Johnny?
It's a Jamaican, man.
I'm a Jollof fan, but I don't know about rice and I don't know about Jollof being owned by Nigeria. Still, I'm not content.
Well, that's what Unity Cup. That's what the Unity Cup was for, man.
Unity Cup. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what, Nigeria? I don't know what the population of Nigeria is, but I know that it's a hell of a lot more than Jamaica. Yeah. So, but for us even to be competing to get to penalties, bro, that's like Liverpool facing Plymouth.
But you know that was like the D team, innit?
What was the Jamaica team?
Well, you tell me.
The first team.
Yeah. And moving on to our last guest, he's already talking up on the pod, Jon Boy.
Yo, yes, guys, thanks for having me on. Jon Boy, Arsenal fan, not in kit. You guys should have reminded me, man. Not in kit, but yeah, avid Arsenal fan. Happy to be here. Not happy with the season, but we can get into that if we need to.
Yeah. Wicked. So obviously give us a like, give us a follow on all major platforms. I hope you're enjoying our reels. We're enjoying the comments, man, making us crack up. But anyway, it's been a big week of football, Champions League final. And it was a crazy final because PSG ran out winners 5-0 against Inter Milan. PSG's won the Champions League for the first time. And all I can say is PSG are eyeing up more glory in the months ahead. Whilst, is it fair to say that age caught up with Inter Milan in that final?
Yeah, you have to say it. But even it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see the final that everybody wanted to see, which is Barca. Okay, if he was an Arsenal fan, then of course, but Barca versus PSG, because again, I think Barca dominated that game against Inter, but somehow Inter managed to get to the final, and yeah, the legs just caught up with them, and essentially they were. Imagine, I think 2 weeks beforehand they were going for the treble. And they left with nothing. So maybe that Asian squad, the legs just gave way.
Yeah. The squad's definitely older. And you can see even after 20 minutes, you can see they were just chasing shadows, man. I think after 20 minutes, they knew there's no chance in this game for us. There's no comeback like we did against Barca. But yeah, like you say, Dre, definitely the legs, definitely tired. If you look at the intensity of the PSG press, let's look at Dembélé even, you will see that no one wants to be up against that, let alone a guy that's 30 plus, 35 plus in defense. So yeah, no. But I would say it's to do with the stamina, but I would say Enrique's tactics also were spot on.
On that, Jonathan, when PSG played Arsenal, was the press just as aggressive? Do you remember? And then you, Max, as well, because you guys played as well.
Yeah, I don't remember the being that aggressive. Yeah. So I don't remember the press being that aggressive. Maybe they're a bit more cautious because obviously Arsenal are a bit more athletic, maybe.
I and
Yeah,
physical.
I don't remember it being like that. I think they were on top of Inter from minute 1 and didn't let up until minute 90 because I think they knew they could. Really and truly, they knew they could.
Yeah, for Liverpool playing against PSG this season, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. They were relentless. Yeah. Although we won the first leg, we did not land a glove on them. Like when you hear the phrase "nicking a living," we literally nicked that result at the end of that game. It kind of exposed the lack of pace that we had in the Liverpool team. Although we were kind of running through the season, it just exposed us so much. And the players that they have, Doué, I can't even say the Georgian player's name, but they just the technical ability, the team, wow. And so when we won the first leg, I knew we were going out to the eventual winners. 100%. And I said it to everyone.
When you won the first leg, you knew you were going out.
I knew the second leg we wouldn't land a punch in it. No, okay. First half in the second leg, when I saw that we didn't respond from the first game, then I knew we were going to go out to them, and I knew they were going to be the winners of the Champions League. And you might not believe it. Yeah. That's what I said. Whoever beats PSG wins the Champions League. Nobody beats PSG, and PSG won the Champions League. So I'm not surprised with what you saw in the final. The skill, the speed that they play with. I don't think they'll do it again next season, but let's just say nobody was ready for what they put forward this season.
Who beat PSG after you beat them? After PSG beat you, who did they play next? It wasn't Arsenal, was it?
No, it was
No.
Villa. Was it? Who was it?
It was Villa, wasn't it?
Was it Villa?
I can't remember. Yeah,
Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I remember Arsenal fans really gassing. Yeah. I remember Arsenal fans really gassing, and all the Liverpool fans were like, "All right, wait to the game, wait and see what you're up against."
I think what it was is because I think Emery has his hold over Arsenal in it. So I think they were like, we don't want to play Villa again because Villa made us do something because of Emery, and Villa can probably do a low block, but whereas you know PSG will come at you, and and that's probably Arsenal more suited to playing a team like PSG than a Villa's Emery team. But even then, I think Arsenal still put up a good fight. But yeah, they weren't.
And not to bring it back to Liverpool, but the signings that Slot is going out and making were revealed to him in those 2 legs, 100%. We were just caught short, no pace. Who we had on the bench, Nunes and Harvey Elliott, brought nothing to the game. So so
no pace. No.
The right winners, the right team that I expected to win the tournament won it, with the exception of Barcelona. But it is what it is.
Because I was going to say, did like Doué's performance indicate about the role of young talent in high stakes matches? How if you're like a true wonder kid that you just turn up? Because I think we forget how young he is as well, and what he's kind of doing on a big stage, and against obviously our older players, more mature players as well.
I think football comes down to a lot of confidence in it. So if the manager has faith in you, irrelevant of whether you're 16, 17, 18, let's say like Yamal, if the manager didn't have faith in him, he couldn't go out and be himself. The same way with Désiré Doué. If Enrique didn't have faith in him, he can't be himself. Maybe if they play for like Jose Mourinho, they may play slightly different because he'll say, don't do this in a certain position. But Enrique and Flick, they're like, yo, this is how you ball. Go ahead and do exactly what you do. Funny enough, I was listening to a podcast, the Overlap podcast, and Henri was on it, and he coached Désiré Doué in the Olympics, and he said there was a time where he came on against Egypt, and Désiré Doué will get the ball. He kept on like passing it back, and Henri was like, "Listen, if you do that one more time, you're coming off." So if a manager gives you that faith, say, "You know what, you can take on a player. I don't care if you lose it, but at least you attempt it." Then, boy, you're gonna keep on doing it, innit?
Yeah.
He'll gain the confidence, right? But what could Inter Milan have done or like adjusted in terms of their strategy to counter PSG's game plan, or is there like nothing you can really do against a PSG team that strong?
Just again judging from the Liverpool game, there was actually nothing that we could do to change it. If you don't have the personnel, there was just literally nothing that we could do. And what we tried.
You know.
I think maybe tactically Slot could have changed it potentially, and maybe had a bit more of the possession. But we were just up against it, and realistically,
you have the personnel.
Yeah, defo.
Yeah, so
I don't think
like,
we did. I don't think we did. I think maybe there was some tactical changes that could have been made. But I think over the 2 legs, Slot didn't make the changes, and off the bench, I don't think we had our players were just not at the races. We were kind of in the middle of the Newcastle game. I think we lost another game. We weren't just at the races at that point in the time in the season as well. So I think that added to the mix. But yeah, tactically we didn't set up right, and then add to that just the blitz and the just the gung-ho nature of how PSG played. We just couldn't deal with it. And I know it's a harsh criticism considering we won the first leg. And we lost on penalties as well. The only thing I could say about them, they weren't clinical. If they were clinical, the result would have been much, much different. For sure.
I think that's something you can say about all the games. But every game that they played, if they were clinical, they could have scored 6-7 goals in every game
for fun.
that they played this season.
Even against Arsenal, John.
Well, you look at the chances. Obviously, we don't know if some of them chances would have been maybe offside or whatever. But if you look at the chances that they had, they could have in that. I think the first leg they could have been. 4.
Yeah, they could have put another 2 away at least.
Yeah,
for sure.
Could have been.
But you don't think if Arsenal took their chances as well? That's how football works, isn't it?
What I would say to that, Sam or Della, is the PSG chances were clear cut. Like all you've got to do is beat the keeper. Arsenal chances, you're under a bit more pressure. I think back to the PSG chances, and I'm seeing one-on-ones that players fluff their lines. And I think back to the Arsenal chances, and I'm seeing you're it's kind of maybe an open goal. There's chances to take, but there's still a lot to do, a hell of a lot to do. Whereas the PSG chances were a lot easier, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like I was going to say, looking at the last game, that Inter and Barca was such a open-ended score. Surely Inzaghi should have maybe played it a little bit more safe, maybe gone more low block, and then maybe go for a counter. Because surely how PSG are going to come out the traps at you, and he surely couldn't have thought that they could have gone toe to toe, or were they just on a high from basically beating Barca and thought, you know what, if we done Barca, we can do PSG.
I would say it's a final, and I don't think I've ever seen a team come out like PSG came out in any final that I've watched. To the point where I've come, I think in their head, they've come to destroy. And obviously, it was 5-0 at the end. I think that was their mentality. Right. And that's their mentality in every game. And I've never seen it in the final, but I don't think Inter were prepared for that, really. Because no teams really do that.
Not at all.
So...
What do you think mentally Inter just wasn't there? Because I think, a couple of days before, and they just literally lost the league on the last day of the season. So, as I said again, sometimes football, people forget the mental side of football, and but when you're this close and you lose, it's demoralizing.
Yeah. You got to pick yourself up in it. And I didn't see it as Inter being mentally not there. I just saw it as them not being able to keep up with the pace of PSG.
But losing the league would have been a factor in their headspace and their mentality. How they approach
and then going to go down within 5 minutes as well.
Not this again. So headspace and it would have played a part. As to quantify how much of an impact it had on a game, hard to tell, but it definitely would have had an impact for sure.
And how do we think this will redefine PSG's status in European football now? Especially after all these years of significant investment, because obviously they've spent a lot of money, and now obviously they're reaping the rewards. But I think it's like we said before, if you get your structure right at the top, and then work your way onto the pitch, then in the end, eventually it's gonna bring up something. But again, I think the chairman said it, that it's like a team. It's all about a team thing. The chairman doesn't go into the dressing room or anything. He leaves the manager to do his thing. The manager chooses the players he wants to bring in. It's isn't it how like a football team should be structured in a way if you want it
Yeah.
to kind of prosper?
It seems that to me there's ultimate trust at, I don't know the backgrounds and all the ins and outs, but it seems that there's ultimate trust at every level. Like they've invested a lot of money, but they've invested well.
Yeah.
And even the players that they've invested in
Recently.
Yeah,
recently,
yeah.
that's what I mean. Though, son. That's what I mean. Like obviously they've got rid of Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and Mbappe,
And Ugarte as well.
and
Yeah.
Ugarte, and a few other players as well. And obviously, the last year or year and a half, they've invested very, very well. And the players have bought into Enrique's what Enrique wants them to do. Like it reminds me of when Klopp got his team that he wanted at Liverpool, and he said, "You're going to run, and you're going to run down everybody that's on the pitch," kind of like that. Like I'm going to invest in what you want me to do, and I think PSG have done that. And if you look at what Dembélé, and I say in Dembélé because his pressing is ridiculous. There's no other player that I can think of at the level that he's operating at that would put in the work that he puts in every single game. I don't know any other player that does it. So for him to be like, yeah, I'm invested in what you're saying, Enrique. Enrique's got trust in his technical director to bring in the players. Technical director's got trust from the board to spend the money. It looks like a good setup at the moment, and I would say they look like a force to be reckoned with at the moment. And Pep Guardiola, he looks like that guy, man. He's ridiculous.
He's proper.
He's ridiculous.
He's proper. When Liverpool were talking about, is Salah staying or going, he's someone I looked at as a possible Salah replacement in terms of someone who can really, who I wouldn't say he's under the radar at that point when he was at Napoli, but just the way he plays, it's just like, such a player, true grit, great skill, great balance. He's one of those players that you look at and you really would want him in your team. But I've got to say, big shout out to Dembélé because he's someone that I kind of put a bit of a flop tag on because I just at Barcelona, I just never saw him deliver. I've never seen him deliver, and I think this is the first season that I've seen the promise. The Dortmund days, when you look at the Dortmund videos when he just tears past players, light work, so light on his feet. You think this player could do anything he wants to do, right? And I think he's got back to that form, and he's had to maybe eat a bit of humble pie as well as get gassed up by the leaders or the authorities at PSG and get buy-in to Enrique's plan, because he technically took a bit of a step down if you really look at it. But Enrique's built a team around him. He's probably someone that the younger players look up to, and he's just delivered, and he's really just kind of proved what what people have said about him, and he's really just delivered. This is the first time I really can say that he's actually delivered. So happy for him. Happy for him.
Yeah, he was injured as well though at Barca, so
yeah, but that's people don't care. Are you delivering, whether you're injured or not? You know what I'm saying? They paid a lot of money for you. Have you historically delivered, even in World Cups? Was it the last World Cup or the Euros? And he's just like galloping down the wing and to nowhere. But now he's moving with conviction. He's like he's been rejuvenated. He has. I mean, you can see it in his game. You can see it in the leadership and how he's pushed everybody forward. So it's been great to see he's come up as well and finally deliver.
On that Dembélé thing, because it's interesting, because what you said, I think what you said, Malx, obviously he's had to eat humble pie, and John, you said he's obviously bought into what Enrique wanted him to do. Obviously, when Arsenal played PSG at the start of the season, and obviously in the group stages, notice he wasn't playing in it because he had a falling out with Enrique. So that was Enrique probably saying, you're either in or out.
Pull up your socks,
and he's like,
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah,
I think it gets to a point where you're like, wait, this is because he was at Dortmund, then he went Barca, right?
Yeah.
He might have got to always like, how many clubs am I going to go to where it doesn't work out?
Yeah. It's true.
After PSG, where do you go?
But then I think there's only probably only certain managers that could probably get that level of respect.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because maybe like some players might be like, oh yeah, whatever, man. I'll just like move on.
Yeah, but where do you move on next to? Because you've gone to all these top clubs.
It's Saudi for him next. It's Saudi for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's keep it 100. Like he had to deliver at PSG, and PSG. Well, I'm assuming he's a Paris boy because pretty much like all of them come from Paris, right? But yeah, so if you're not delivering at your hometown club, you know it's a wrap for you, really. It's done. So
for sure.
Really, his career was on the line, and it's made him deliver. So great to see the talent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what does it mean for PSG like moving forward though? Are they like a force to be reckoned with now in terms of, because obviously they're still quite a young team.
I think other teams are going to cotton on. I think other teams are going to cotton on and really come for them. Like I said, Liverpool were investing in pace this season because obviously that was a massive part of where we kind of lacked. And someone, good ball holders in the middle of the park. I would imagine Real Madrid, all the other big teams are going to try to, probably invest in more youth as well. Runners, people who can, get about the pitch as well. So, yeah, that's probably what you're going to see.
On that, Malx, obviously, going back to your signings, obviously, Frimpong potentially Wirtz.
Yeah.
Like, do you think your system is going to change? Because Frimpong's more of a wing back.
I think people are underestimating Frimpong's just ability to just play right back, right? Of course, he's going to push up the pitch, but even I've forgotten his name. It's kind of our main right back. Guys, remind me of his name.
Oh,
Connor Bradley. Connor, sorry.
Connor Bradley.
Yeah, even Connor pushes up. They put Connor's a proper right back. He don't drift too much, but even he has the ability and he pushes up the wing. So I think people are underestimating just because, Frimpong plays on the right wing that he's just going to be attacking. He's got no defensive abilities. No, he's going to fit into the formation and the team. So, I think Frimpong will fit. Where I am a bit confused is the Wirtz deal because we haven't played with a number 10 since really Coutinho. So I would expect there to be a change of shape. And how a number 10 fits in, I'm not sure. Wirtz wouldn't have been the top name on the list for me. Definitely not. Just given on our historic structure. And we've got to get used to the fact that we're not going to have a right back who is technically acted as a number 10 in terms of being a main creative output. We're going to have to go back to the orthodox way of utilizing a kind of a playmaker. But it'll be interesting. It works, looks interesting. He's a runner, skillful, can play anywhere across the front three. There'll definitely be a change, but I'm not too sure if they're clued up on how they're going to embed Wirtz. I think the players available, let's get in the system. That would be my view. That would be my view. I mean, other might have other views, but it seems to me that this is a player who will fit into our culture. He wants to come to the club. He's got all the abilities. How he can fit in. How do we fit him in? And that's Klopp's challenge, and I think Klopp will nail it personally.
Slot. But what I'm gonna say is, if you're investing, if you're investing how much you're investing in such a player, you need to know what you're doing with him because
100%. But he's not someone who, he's someone that does exactly what he says on the team. He's gonna deliver for you, right? So I'm sure that Slot has a plan of how he's gonna structure him into the team. Personally, for me, would I have gone for a player of that value, of that size? That's not really Liverpool's way or FSG's way. So to be fair, I would have. Spent someone like Turkey, if I'm honest, for that value personally. I think it's a bit too much to spend on one player. If I'm going to spend that amount of money, it has to be in a core position in the team. So core for me is keeper, centre back, middle of the park, and the number 9, right? Just in the core.
Yeah.
And the only person I would have said, I would have thought we would have gone for someone like maybe Isaac for a 9. So I've been a bit bamboozled by this word still, but I'm sure.
That's a valid point actually, because if you're spending that much,
has to be
obviously maybe Newcastle don't want to sell.
Yeah,
true.
But what was I
Makes
going to say? I was watching something, and obviously they said this season, notice, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Malx, because you're a Liverpool fan. They said that Salah played more on the wide. He played more on he held the width more because Trent was coming in like inverted.
Yeah.
But then what they want to do now with Frimpong is essentially say you hold your width and you play more wide, then Salah can be more inverted. But then I think okay, that makes sense. But now if you're going to now have a 10, that means Salah's coming to that same space as your number 10. And especially if that 10 is now going to be someone that you're breaking a transfer record for, something has to give. So it's just like, as you said, maybe it would have probably made more sense if you got Šeško instead of Wirtz. At least now you can say, okay, come out of the firing line a bit. But for this price tag, not saying he has to be a starter, but he needs to have.
He has to be a starter at this price tag. No, he definitely has to start. With Frimpong is going to be bombing down the wing. That's what he does. Salah is definitely going to be closer to goal because he's not going to be out as wide. So they're going to need to absorb both Salah and Wirtz into the team, but they're both very technically gifted players. They'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure. And it's looking like Diaz might be off. You know, if you're looking at his Instagram post recently, he might be exiting the club. So
what's he saying?
Huh? Well, he's saying, you know, one of them ones where like, I thank you so much to the club and all of this and all of that. And his wife is posting the same thing. And listen, I think he's on something like 50K, like really low. Yeah, exactly. Really low salary. He's 28, 29. He's probably going to, on his next contract, he's looking for a bumper deal, 3 to 5 years. And he's probably looking to feed his indigenous village as well, right? He's looking for that big deal. And probably Saudi's only going to put that on the table. So I would imagine Diaz is probably looking for, probably going to exit the club, and it might free up some space on the left-hand side as well. And Wirtz can operate across the front three. So nothing set in stone in terms of how things are going to work, but there's definitely going to be some flexibility, and I think they're players who can make it work, whatever happens.
Yeah, one thing I think I've seen of Slot this year is that he's able to get pieces and, like you say, make it work, Malcolm. So I think if he's getting Wirtz in, he knows exactly, like to your point, Adela, he knows exactly what he wants to do with him. I don't think he's going to get a player that doesn't know what to do with. So, I can't see Liverpool falling off this year to the point of like, they're going to challenge. The squad's going to be still too good. But I think all your signings are going to be shrewd signings. And I say shrewd because 100+ mil don't sound shrewd.
No.
But I think when you get the results, you look back on it like that was money well spent, because Slot is going to make it happen. He's the type of manager that can do that. I don't see, and FSG as well, they're proven that they don't spend money. Every player that comes in, most players that come in, they're decent buys. You don't really get many flops at Liverpool.
I was going to say, before we move away from the Champions League, obviously we've got a PSG supporter, you got Arsenal supporter, and you got Liverpool supporter all in this
he supports PSG.
Chat.
Damn, you moved to it again.
I didn't say I'm supporting them.
Okay.
I was gonna say the main question
the trophies, Malx.
Yeah, I hear that. Jeez. I hear that. That's what Della's on. He just wants to win, bro. I was gonna say, who's gonna win the Champions League next season? Liverpool, Real Madrid,
never finished yet, bro.
Arsenal, PSG, Man City, Barca, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Newcastle.
I'll say this.
Even Tottenham are in there.
I'll say this, bro. What I'll say is Arsenal's got a good shout because although we lost to PSG this year, right, we gave it a good shot without a striker. I know we don't talk about XG, but XG seemed to be high. I know there's some chances that we'll have had a higher XG than others in the game that we played. But I think if we had a striker, a more dangerous player, because really and truly, without a striker, we're playing with not 10 men, but it's like 10 men, essentially. I think if Arteta gets the guy that he needs or wants, and he figures out what to do with them, gets the team a bit more free flow like we were at 22-23, I would say Arsenal got a good shot. But I'll be honest, PSG and Liverpool and Barca will be the favourites. Probably leading with PSG, then Barca, then Liverpool. That's the way I see it.
Would you say Liverpool favourites?
They'll be up there 100%. Because you think about it, Sam, or Della, sorry. They play PSG. If we didn't play PSG, they're getting to the final or the semis at least. It's only because they played the best team in the competition early while they went out. That's the only reason.
The only thing I'm saying, the only reason why I asked that question, because after the game, Slot was like, this is the, what did he say? This is probably like one of the hardest games or best games I've ever played in my life. And you're saying that as a manager, if this is not saying this is your pinnacle, but this is the level that you have to be at. I know Liverpool have the legacy, but Slot as a manager, he doesn't have that legacy. If you're saying this is the highest I've ever, and he might be saying the truth, but I don't think you come out on record and saying this is the highest I've experienced in my lifetime. So I just doubt him as a manager on that scene.
Well,
not Liverpool,
okay,
just
so
him as a manager.
when did he say? He said that after the PSG game.
Yeah, after you guys got knocked out.
Yeah, everybody was saying that because we were blown away, and obviously we've watched Liverpool in the Champions League. We were blown away by off the pitch. So go on, Sam.
No, finish. Sorry.
No. So what I'm saying, we were blown away and from the game, and we had up to that point beating everybody. We were top of the champ. Our gift for winning all the games and coming top of that Champions League new style was meeting the eventual winners. What's that about? Yeah. So that's ridiculous. That's a total waste of time. However, my point is, we will definitely be in the mix. I would prefer that we focused on winning a back-to-back league, but I would say is if we're in the mix against Barcelona, PSG, and us and whoever else, we will be better. Slot will be definitely better in next year's Champions League. So we'll certainly be in the mix for sure. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, I see Liverpool going semis at least if they don't play PSG. If they had Arsenal's route, for example, they get to the semis, play PSG.
Yeah.
Any other route?
So what are you saying, Jon Boy?
I mean, they had Arsenal's route.
If they play the same team that Arsenal played, they get to the semi-finals.
What, Real Madrid but who did they play? Oh, they played PSG in the quarters.
Yeah, man. They're not just that was our gift for winning the league.
I don't think that was even the quarter. That wasn't the quarters. That was like the last 16.
Yeah.
Oh, you might got knocked out.
Yeah. We won the league now. We won the Champions League. Yeah, came top of the league, and we got PSG as a reward. So they got to work with that system. Come on, that system's got.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Obviously, PSG had a dodgy start to the season. A lot of the players that they ended the season with, they didn't have at them times of the season.
Yeah.
So when they finished, wherever they finished, like 12th, wherever it was, that wasn't the team that they won the Champions League with. I looked at the front three and I was like, boy, that was a whole different front three that played.
Yeah.
Even against us in the league phase versus us in the semi-final. So yeah, they improved a lot. So I don't think that'll happen next year, Malcolm.
What are you saying though, John? You get a striker, that's it. Bam.
What striker though? What striker? Arsenal. What striker?
Yeah.
Who's Arteta's right man?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Come on, man.
I could talk a lot about Arsenal, man. I don't want to talk about Arsenal too much. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on.
I just want to know what's the lineup. Who's in that lineup for Arsenal in terms of the striker? this holy grail that you man are talking about, who is in that lineup? Who's there? Who do you want, John? Who do you
I'll
want,
be
John?
honest. Just like you were saying about Isak, yeah. I say if Arsenal got Isak,
Yeah.
I would say if Arsenal get Isak, they win the league, challenge for the Champions League 100%. If you got him, win the league, challenge for the Champions League 100%. With the options that are available to us now, Gyökeres, I don't know. His numbers are up there. What something goals this season? No. Something, what's his numbers? Like 30 plus goals.
30 plus, yeah.
It's ridiculous numbers. But again, we're talking about the Portuguese league.
Yeah.
Not to knock it. But it's a different league to the Premier League.
You can knock it. You can knock it, bro.
And the space that he's getting, he's being afforded in that league. He's not getting that. Nowhere near that in the Premier League. Nowhere, not even close to being one-on-one with anyone. He's not isolating a winger.
I'm not convinced.
Especially in Arteta's system, unless Arteta changes the system, which he may. But he's not getting that. So I'm not convinced 100% by him. At other teams, potentially, but not at Arsenal under Arteta.
Yeah, but who are you buying, bro, to give you that edge?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, who do you need, bro? Who do you need? Just say, like, what striker is going to take you lot to the pinnacle, to the promised land?
That's the only guy that I can guarantee.
So Isaac is not available. So who is there?
He's not available, is he?
In that case, the guy that I think complements Arteta the best, the system that Arteta's built, is Šeško. If I'm being honest, I look at what he's capable of, and I'm like, yeah, he fits in the best, but his goal return is not up there. So it's difficult.
But Isaac's goal return associated.
This is what I would say. If Arteta wasn't stubborn, if he was open to changing the system, losing a little bit of the control, right, and he got Gyökeres, I think we could win the league because there's enough there in terms of if he said, for example, all right, cool, we'll relinquish the control. You have the ball a bit more, and we can play a bit more on the counter, open up the space in behind a bit more. Arsenal win the league, but I just don't think he's going to do that. I don't know. So Šeško for me would be the better fit at this moment in time. But I think any striker that comes in for Arsenal, as long as we get 15, 20 goals, we could win the league.
Yeah, they will. From the time Marino scoring what 10? How many goals did Marino score just since he went up top?
I think it's 9.
More than Xerxes and Højlund. So I hear your point. I think
it's not even just about because Marino was great, yeah, in that he scored the goals, great, but he wasn't actually a threat. Like he's not making defenders think, right, I've got to be mindful of what's going on to the left or right.
Yeah.
If we get someone that does that to open up the pitch a bit more for us because it's compact and we need a bit more space to operate, get Saka operating in a bit more space, get Martinelli in a bit more space. The options for us next season in terms of trophies, not endless, but they open up. Right, this season I think was the worst season I've seen Arsenal play football for probably 3-4 seasons. I didn't enjoy this season in terms of performances. Like I didn't watch that many games, full games. I was like, I'm not entertained enough to be happy because the football was a bit stale for me, a bit sameish. And I said it in a number of groups. Like I'm not really down for crossing to the back post every single game, corners. I want to see football.
Yeah.
And I think if we get back to a bit more of that with a guy that's prolific in front of goal, not even prolific, just decent in front of goal. I think even if you give us right now, I think back to Arsenal strikers of the past. Even if you give me Giroud, and I say Giroud because he wasn't our best striker. I know he's won titles and whatnot. I don't disrespect him. But if you give me Giroud this season, Arsenal win the league. There's so many players that I can think, when players got January and players fans are turning up their nose at Watkins, I'm like, Watkins could win us the league. Like, I'll be honest, we just need a striker, a guy that in front of goal.
So why aren't you lot going for Watkins then? Just go back in for him, bro.
No, there's no. They've moved on, man.
Bro,
he's saying Watkins will win them the league, bro. He's not even that expensive, bro. We might as well just go
in
for
January, but now they've moved on.
This is it. Options are open now, so that's it. Like I'm hearing Šeško and Watkins. I will take that all day. I'll take that. I know fans will be like, "Bro, you're crazy. Why you take that?" I'm like, "Bro, you get Watkins and Šeško, they stay fit. We score 20% more goals than we did this season."
Yeah.
But irrelevant of whoever comes in, whether it's Šeško, whether it's Watkins, Havertz is Arsenal's first choice striker. Just to let you
Bro,
know.
he's not.
He is.
Can't be.
Arsenal.
Cannot be.
Yeah.
He can't be.
Šeško's not starting ahead of Havertz straight away.
He
He's
cannot
not.
be. Come on.
Maybe eventually, but straight away, Havertz is starting the season as
Straight
Arsenal
away.
number 9.
Yeah. Bruv, I'm used to. Bruv, I remember when loads of players signed for Arsenal under Wenger, great players, and he wouldn't start them straight away. He'd be like, no, work your way into the team. Feel your way into the team. I get that. I don't mind that. But if we sign a striker that his position is, he's known as a striker, I do not expect Havertz to be starting striker.
Yeah, 100%. Why are you signing him?
But say if Havertz is proving his worth up there.
Once we hit September, after the first 2 games, hit September, I'm not expecting Havertz to be starting the game.
Say if he's banging goals.
Don't matter.
Havertz.
Yeah. It does matter.
I don't expect him to be starting then. Like any player you sign as a striker, you sign Gyökeres as a striker, you sign Šeško as a striker.
They go into the team straight away.
Bro, there's no way that you're signing that those guys are not coming to sit behind Havertz.
I'm not saying
Havertz is not.
No way.
But Arsenal, basically, they will be Arsenal's strikers, striking options. Havertz and whoever comes in next. So let's go machine for machine. If he's
he doesn't do enough.
No. I said if he is playing up there and he's actually banging goals, you don't swap him out.
So what's banging goals though? Like banging goals, Marino bang goals. Marino bang goals. Marino scored goals, but he's not a threat. He's not doing what he needs to be doing to make defenders feel like, rah, there's something happening here. I am not gonna move from this guy, or I'm not gonna get too tight to this guy. He's not doing that. So that's the player that comes in has to be like, right, if I get too close, X could happen or Y could happen.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying, just know Arsenal's striking options next season is Havertz plus
he
whoever.
Might be in the mix. He might
That's
be in
what
the
I'm
mix. He might be.
So
Arsenal not going to have the same issue where they went this season saying when you're going to have one striker. So if the other
he could be a striker, but I think Havertz is a utility player that could play striker. Just like Marino could play striker. You don't really want them there, but okay, cool, I'll do it. And the fact that for me, if Arteta does that, right, he's gonna lose the fans. Bruv, he will lose the fans quick. Yeah. Like, there's no way you bring in Gyökeres, Šeško, Watkins, whoever it is, and you're still saying, yeah, Havertz is my guy.
Oh, man. That will just go down like a lead balloon. I'm telling you. Like, I think they're looking for a striker to come in and bring goals. But I think also they're looking to slightly... Jonathan, you probably might be able to answer this, but are they looking for a more direct style of play? Because it just looked to me like Arsenal just passed the ball around the box quite, a lot, rather than just going directly to goal. So is it just a more directness that the Arsenal Arteta is looking for?
I think
on top of the goal.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say it's more direct in that sense.
Okay.
Not like a route one or anything like that. It's not that. It's more like the way I see it at the moment is Arteta. I talked about control. He wants the more control of the game, and he sees control as don't make dangerous decisions, right?
Okay.
But I think he does that because he's not confident that the guys that are receiving the ball in the areas where there's danger, or you could have danger, are going to do anything with the ball. So he wants to make easier chances, tap-ins across the box, corners, etc., etc. I think he's confident that the guy that's receiving the ball will hold that ball, will have a more direct style of play, rather than, because there's times I've seen, I'm like, the pass is on, and if it was Liverpool, whoever's got the ball is making that pass, like that ball's going in behind to Núñez or whoever it is. Diaz, Salah, it's going, we're playing it. Whereas with Arsenal at the moment, it's just like, no, hold it a bit more, wait for players to get into position. But he does that because he doesn't want to lose the ball. But you have to be prepared to lose the ball. And if you get a striker that you're more confident in that's not going to lose the ball, then we might see the more direct style of play. And I'm hoping that.
But I'm hearing as well that Partey contract negotiations are moving a bit crazy.
Yeah.
I read that he wants to go Barca, or that they're talking to Barca.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fans out there that was like, nah, get rid of him. I don't know if that's for footballing reasons or any other reason, but for me, if you lose Partey, you've lost Jorginho, you're bringing in Zubimendi. Partey will be like a transitional player then that will help you transition from having Zubimendi, going from Partey and Jorginho to Partey and Zubimendi. If you bring in 2 new midfielders, I would say back to square one, and we're looking at another technically a rebuild of the midfield. And I don't know how that's going to go. So for me, Partey's got to stay at least 1 more year, see the new players come through, and then he can leave. Or 2 years, whatever it is.
I agree.
From a footballing point of view, 100% he stays.
Cool. All right, quickly, let's just go into the next game that was during the week as well. It was before the Champions League final. It was the Conference League final. Chelsea ran out 4-1 winners against Real Betis. I'm not sure if any of you watched all 90 minutes of it, but I can firmly tell you that. I was going to say, I can firmly tell you all that I firmly watched Antony with Hate Watch, man, and he truly delivered a stinker for me. He truly delivered a stinker, and that was the real Antony that we saw.
Oh, really?
Is that a fair assessment? Because, like, I can't lie, first Premier League opposition that he's played against, God, he didn't have no answers for it. Really
I think
didn't.
What's interesting is that, so essentially what you're saying, Dre, is that you've been obviously hearing about Antony score goals and this, that, whatnot, but that's you're saying this was in La Liga and La Liga's whatever. But when it comes back to his home, he's bread and butter, the Prem, it's a different kettle of fish. So essentially the Prem and La Liga are very different leagues. Yeah. So 100%. Let me be careful what I'm trying to say here. So essentially, when people wax lyrical about players from La Liga doing well in La Liga, do we need to temper our expectations and say, you know what, La Liga is not the same as the Prem? Because you've got guys like Antony who's struggled in the Prem, gone to La Liga, and he's looked like a completely different player. Based on,
for sure.
I didn't really watch him, but that's based on his stats, and he seemed like he's got his confidence back, his mojo back. He's scoring goals, assists, free kicks. But in that cup final, he was, as you said, he was the Antony that we all know, anonymous. He just looked childish. So I never expected much anyway.
Like, to be honest, I was hoping that he would actually prove me wrong. Just because when a player gets hyped up so much to the point that you're seeing all these highlights of him, you're seeing all these goals, he's playing better for Real Betis, the same quotes are coming out, it's United's fault, it's rotten to the core. Cool, just prove me wrong. It was the one game that I thought he can prove me wrong now, but I don't know. It's like, I think like with anything, the physicality of a Premier League team is always going to be different from La Liga, and I think that's like in most leagues. And Liverpool, even Arsenal, and even Aston Villa, they all gave PSG a good game. And PSG is the French league, and we call that like the Farmers League.
Hey, not Liverpool.
Wow.
No, but do you know what I mean? But it wasn't a whitewash.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So
your hate was it stronger for Antony or Sancho?
For me, it was more Antony, probably.
What?
It was probably more Antony, because the thing is, Sancho, I never really hated Sancho, but the whole reason is that he never really did a lot when he was at United. I mean, Antony was just stinking it up, but when there was times when I saw Sancho and I thought, yeah, this guy's gonna push on now. Like, he's like one performance away from like showing his, like, replicating what he did at Dortmund. But then he would do like one good game and then he's back to his usual, back to like just not performing. It's like, I don't know. It's a tough watch. But the thing is as well, I know Sancho was looking like he scored in the Champions League final. That celebration was almost like, oh, I'm the man. But it's like, bro, you're like Division 3 of the Champions League, innit? Like, really.
No, but Antony aside, do you not believe do you not believe there is an actual chronic problem at Man United with players?
There is.
I think it's a bit. Look, at the end of the day, Man United is a big club.
It's massive.
And if you go there and you're not, if you go there and you're not performing, like there's no hiding.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be in the papers every week until you start putting in a performance. And the problem is with a lot of these players, the money that we're spending on these players, the valuations that obviously these players have been put at, you're expecting a lot more for them to deliver. And we're even stupid for like overpaying the odds.
Wow. Yeah.
But when they're not delivering, and then like for me, Sancho as well, he hasn't really done anything at Chelsea.
He's not pulling any up in the trees for sure.
He's not showing anything different for me to go, yeah, you know what? It was all United.
But I think there's enough evidence to suggest that it's all United.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough. There's enough.
There's enough out there to say United are being a trash club.
Yeah. There's a lot.
There's no way you can deny that. Like, how many players have come to United as stars and left United as bums?
Too many.
How many?
Yeah.
The body count is nuts. The body count is nuts.
It's too crazy, bro.
It's nuts.
I could think of like Sancho, Antony. They were both stars. Pogba,
Di Maria. We're talking like the last 10 years. The last 10 years, we've got to be honest.
He wasn't even a flop. They don't say he's a flop. They say he had a good career at United. I'm like, nah. I think
United, Di Maria.
Yeah.
What about the one from Arsenal?
Even another came with decent stock.
Oh, what, Sanchez?
No, yeah, come on, man. Like Sanchez.
Yeah, that was a flop.
That's a bad one. That's
But the thing is with Man United as well is that obviously they're like buying these like so-called stars.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a return on my money.
Yeah.
Because I'm paying this much money and they're gonna perform on a pitch. But the thing is, you can't blame Man United for a player that's coming to the club and not playing more like a team. Because I would say with a lot of these players, they're all like individuals and they don't really understand the value in like, you don't have to be great at football to win games. You just have to gel together as a team and pull your weight.
But that's Man United's
to win these games. And that's been our big problem. It's because all these players, they're all individuals. They're like, I'm an individual brilliance. But you get on that pitch, bro, you're not winning the game by yourself.
Who owns the system? There's been no system at United in terms of a way of playing for at least since Fergie left, right? So yes, if you're buying individuals and you're trying to fit them in, you're just buying individuals. Of course, they're not going to figure out what
exactly
place to place.
Yeah,
I think.
But then that goes down to the structure of the club.
Yes,
because you need to have the people in the right places.
Of course.
Like now, like we've got Jason Wilcots, we've got Omar. For me, they strike me with more confidence. Because they're not going to just buy like any player for the sake of it. They're going to buy players that they think can maybe fit into Amarin's system, or they're definitely up and coming players that they're going to work tirelessly hard for that badge. That they ain't going to throw a stinker. Yeah, so exactly, and it's a change in mentality. It's a change in mentality. The only way I can see it is that Man United, they need to use this bad form, this bad run, to try and go that step further now and go, you know what? We've just got the Prem to focus on. Let's try and bring in a few recruits. Let's just try and play football, guys, like as a team.
Yeah. Okay, just one more thing on Man United, and something that just kind of sticks out to me, and it's a massive red flag is Amarin.
Yeah,
right?
go on.
So obviously he came in halfway through the season or whatever. You know, it was coming now, or you're not coming to club or whatever. He's come in. He's had an absolute stinker because he's wanted to play this system. He hasn't had the players. Do United fans or the club not see that as a red flag that he hasn't had the players to play this system, but he hasn't been flexible to find a new system to deliver results? And now you're in a situation where if Amarin does not deliver by October, you're pretty much in the same scenario as you were with Eric Ten Hag, right? In terms,
he'll definitely be in trouble, Malx. But the thing is, I would say that Amarin has probably told them from the beginning, this is how it's going to be, and he would have been clear with them that this is the formation I'm going to play. Right, he's probably thought these players, I'll maybe try and get a tune out of them.
Yes.
He didn't think it would be this bad.
Yes.
But I think I've said it on pods before,
Yeah.
like a few weeks back, that bro, like you're going into a job, like cool, like after 3 months you're not doing your job, your manager's going to pull you aside and be like, you've got to hit these targets. Cool. You have another 3 months. Your 6-month probation is up. You haven't hit these targets yet, so it's going to be a bit crazy for me to continue in the same company. So I might have to let you go. But my thing is, with a footballer, you're not doing that. You can't just fast track players in and out. We all know that that's never going to be the case.
Just one thing.
So he
So go on, brother.
Go on.
Yeah, the one
Now,
thing I want to say, if you're buying players to fit a system where in October, he might not be there. There's a risk that if he doesn't deliver, you're going to be stuck with players who fit into a 3 at the back formation, and he might not be at the club. So how you guys manage this transfer window is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it will be. Time will tell. Amarin knows that, he's going to have to start getting the results and bringing in play. They're going to bring in basically the players that he wants. We might not get obviously the first choice players that he wanted on that list now. No, Champions League football is going to be even harder, but we have to get back to that point where at least we're just showing up on the pitch, because a lot of the times we're only showing up for the big games, and that's just not good enough.
I think
as Man United.
So just my 2 pence. I think as a United, like not team, like the hierarchy at United, you have to realize, like, you've been through this but you've had how many managers now? Maybe since Sir Alex, like 7 managers since Sir Alex left. No, it must be clear to whoever brought Amarim in that the players we've got are not good enough. It's very evident the players that we've got are not good enough. Ragnick said this before Ten Hag came, that the players are not good enough.
Yeah.
So you've had when did he come? Like December, January?
Yeah.
You've had 6 months with this crop of players. You've played your football. They haven't really adjusted to it. Cool. Now we know they've got to go. You have to back him, because you're only giving him 6 months or half a season.
Yeah, of course.
You have to back him. And I don't think you can back him just until October. You have to give this guy, it's pretty much like getting Amarim now, or have Amarim's first transfer window, right? It's pretty much like Amarim's, this is his first, you might as well just say he's at 0. Reset the clock. Yeah, Amarim, you've got a season to get this right. Like this talk of see where it is in October, November, December, for me, it's not going to work, because he's only going to have had them players his new players for like 3 months. He's new players for 3 months. You have to give him a season, see where he's gone in that season.
So you're saying irrelevant of the results?
If he's thinking of the place,
you have to see how it goes, Sam. You have to see how it goes. You can't just be like, hey, I'm going to get rid of it.
But if he's thinking of the place, he's on 6 months. Have you seen the league table?
He's thinking of the place with players that are not his. One.
Yeah, but say if he now does it again with players that are his.
2, with players that we already know are trash. The players have all checked out. Every single one of them players are checked out. They've been checked out for the last 2-3 seasons. So to say Amarim now, you finish 17th with players that we know stinking up the place, it's not fair on Amarim. I'm not Amarim's biggest fan at the moment. I think he could have done better. Like you said, with system-wise, he seems a bit stubborn in his approach to the game. But
the pressure will be on.
Yeah,
as a hierarchy, you cannot say, Amarim, you failed because you didn't get us where we wanted to be this season with a couple of players that we know are trash. Next season, give you your players, and we'll give you a whole season. In my opinion,
I hear what you're saying, and if you recall, Jon, when Arteta took over Arsenal, I jokingly said in his first season, as long as he doesn't get relegated, it's cool because he's still learning. But that's because that was a manager, and this was his first job. Amarin has been managing for
excuse, by the way, whether it's your first job or not, that's no excuse. Like
it is only because it's like imagine being a project manager, and all you have is theory. You just pass your exam and they say go and manage this project. You're going to struggle to begin with because you're just working off theory. You may hit the ground running, but there's a possibility you may not go.
If you're struggling to begin with, then don't take the job at the top company. take the job,
Yeah,
at a lower
which is
company
fair, but
and build your way
which
up.
is fair. Which is fair, but at the same time, maybe that tech company said, we believe in you, so they're going to give you more time. So you're going to learn on the job.
I heard that.
So that's Arteta. But with Amorim, if Amorim was in the same situation, then I'd be like, okay, cool, give him time. But this is someone that's been managing for at least 5 seasons.
Yeah.
This is his 3rd team. So all this excuse are saying is this is not his team. Obviously, Liverpool, that's a whole different kettle of fish. It's Slot's team. But how many managers come in and they have their team? And it takes like 3 windows for you to get your own team. But in order for me to give you that trust, you need to give me something back.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, you almost got relegated.
Bare red flags. Bare red flags.
No. I'm not saying the red flags ain't there. The red flags are 100% there. But what I'm saying is, just thinking logically, you got this guy out of his very comfortable position that he was in. The project. He said, okay, I'm down for your project. You're ripping me up from where I could have been winning my league title for the 3rd time, whatever it is. You've put me here. Now you have to give me a bit of time.
Yeah,
this is what I want to do.
I think time is right. Yeah.
I've stunk up the place, yes, but the players stunk up the place for the last 3-4 years, 5 years even. So give me some players. I'm not saying all new players. Get me some players. I'm going to get rid of the ones I don't trust.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring some new guys, and then judge me from then. That's what I'm saying.
Well, at the same time, you ain't got someone you can't. You ain't even got someone who can score goals. You haven't got someone that can keep the goals out. That's already that's already crazy, bro. Because you're like -1 going into them games.
Exactly. And it's not like Amorim said. It's not like Onana's Amorim's keeper. Yeah,
I heard this.
Amorim can't make Onana better.
No,
John, I heard this. Yeah, but is the United team better than Bournemouth team? Is the United team better than Brighton team?
Nah.
What, as in player?
It's debatable, bro. It's debatable.
That's a debate.
Oh, you think Bournemouth are better than Man United?
What are you saying? As in individuals?
No, the team.
The team. As a team, they play better. As a team, they're better than United.
Bournemouth are better than Man United. So you don't think? So let's say it didn't have the Man United crest. You just saw those players. You don't think those players are better than the Bournemouth squad?
So you're asking me, player for player, is the squad at Man United better than the Bournemouth squad? Yeah, it probably is better. It probably is better.
Then Amorim do better than it. That's what I'm saying, bro. You don't need to get me a whole
No.
Just do better with what you have.
It's the same discussion we had about Dembele. Sometimes you're mentally not there, bro, and sometimes you need a new challenge to mentally lock you in. And I think those players, as we've seen with Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, sometimes it's like, bro, I just want to get out of here. I don't care who comes in. You could bring in Pep. I don't care. I don't want to play here anymore.
Yeah.
But I want my money.
How many of those players need to go?
I said
a lot of them. A lot of them.
You need to,
5, 6.
Before Ahmad was on the scene, I said get rid of every single player at Man United if you can. It's not possible. But at least that needs to go, bro. This season, it's not good. Players are trash.
Yeah, a lot of trash players there, man.
Yeah.
But in saying that, if they go to another team, they'll probably do all right.
But anyway, just quickly. Yeah, it's mad anyway. But Man United is a dodgy subject. We won't know until the season starts. I think it's it's one of those mystery boxes. Like with a question mark on it. You don't know what you're going to get.
Apparently, obviously, you've got Cunha, and I think you guys are in for Breno. So that's a good.
Yeah, for me, if Man United can get Bueno as well, then that for me is I'm happy because I didn't think that we would be able to attract maybe a player like that without Champions League football, because I think there would be other teams in for him. So I think if we can basically to put it straight, the only way Man United is probably going to get some good players is they're going to have to give them good wages, which they don't want to do.
Yeah.
But these players that they want to get in, they're going to have to give them good wages.
For sure.
And then the rest they're going to try and recruit.
And Bremer's going to be on 300k a week. 300k.
Yeah, he's going to be on
300k.
He's going to be on something stupid, bro.
Obviously, that's the history of the Man United. You overpay the players, they don't perform, you can't get rid of them because the wages are too high. So hopefully it works out. I say hopefully, for you guys, hopefully, not for me, hopefully. But hopefully,
bro, at the end of the day, we all know.
Man, I'm 300k, bro. No one's paying Brian and Bremo 300k per week or whatever the number is.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's giving them that.
That's why I said that everything that we do now is associated with a risk.
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yeah, no, it's-
and that the only way we can try and resolve it is trying to pluck a few decent stars, I would say stars, like from the Prem that have delivered.
Mhm.
Then hopefully they can do it on a bigger stage.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we all know that Man United crest, there's like a heavy burden on your shoulders, bro. There ain't no Brentford. You ain't playing at the
Nah,
G-Tech.
United right now, I wouldn't. But if you would want to go, why would you want to go Man United right now? You don't get
No,
nothing.
no,
You're
exactly.
getting hate.
No,
That's
no,
from Man United. Depends where you're coming from.
Your
Yeah.
own fans are coming through every week. Your manager doesn't want you to play. Like the pressure is there to get Champions League. You might not get it. You're not playing in Champions League. It's not fun. The season could be
Yeah.
disastrous, bro. You just pay me a lot
It
of money
could
for
be.
United. But
it
quickly,
could be, but go on.
just on going back to the Chelsea Betis game,
Yeah, go on.
well, I think Betis they did enough in the first half an hour, first half,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have won
first
that
half for
game,
sure.
been clear.
Yeah.
And then second half, they just done some abysmal defending. Like
Mm.
the way that guy got turned by Cole Palmer, I was
Yeah,
like,
it's mad.
Easy.
in the box. Come on, man. And then one of the other goals, I can't remember which one it was, when the guy went to kick it and he went through his legs and then
Oh,
they
yeah,
crossed
yeah,
in. Bruv, it's like basic stuff that you wouldn't see in Champions League or maybe even Europa.
No,
I don't even
exactly.
know, but
Exactly.
yeah,
But we do have to give a special
They
shout
played
out.
well for their level, but they
Yeah.
got lucky because Betis could have had that game wrapped up in the first half.
But you have to give a special shout out to Cole Palmer, though, surely.
Yeah, no. Quality player.
Because
Quality player.
that guy's influence in that game showed that he is a special talent. But at the same time, you can't give that player that much time and that much room.
No chance. You wouldn't get it. Well, I say that you wouldn't get it in the Premier. You might get in the Premier against some teams, but to get that level of space or freedom in a final is unheard of.
Exactly.
Never seen it before.
And then to let Sancho score as well, nah.
You
You
guys-
guys-
I thought that broke you the most. Sancho goal.
Oh god. The thing is as well, I've seen him score goals like that at Man United before. But the way he's again like just not consistently doing it for Chelsea as well, it's just I don't really know where he goes from here. For instance, he ain't gonna come back to Man United.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Chelsea want to take him full time, so I'm not
Isn't
sure
it
where his
that
options are.
How does it work? Do you get money?
We get-
Chelsea. Chelsea pay
yeah, we
5
get-
mil.
Yeah, 5 mil.
Come
Yeah,
back.
if you 5 mil. Yeah.
I'll pay the 5 mil, bro. 100%.
But I think the sticking point is his wages. He doesn't want to drop wages, isn't it?
That's it.
What's he on?
Wages.
Oh, he'd be on something silly, man, like 200 plus or something.
Madness. These times Diaz is on 40 or 50k at level. Jesus, like
Bro, he needs a better agent, bro.
No, he does. Like, he's not good, bro. Even in fact,
FSG,
no. When
man.
as soon as he signs for Liverpool
not F about.
as an attacker,
Jesus.
so go on, Max.
No, I'm just saying FSG do not fuck about. Structurally,
Bro,
commercially,
That's
they're
unheard of.
on the money each and every time. How? What? Sancho does fuck all.
To be fair, he signed
Yeah.
from Porto. Was it Porto he came from?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously
Yeah.
that's part of it,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
you position yourself so that you can pay those type of wages, and you have a scouting team that does the work, so you can pay those wages and get good output. So yeah, United is a roots and branch situation, and cultural thing. So yeah, we'll be here all day if we have to talk about that. To be quite honest, guys.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Chelsea going into that game, they're probably a lot more relaxed knowing that they got the Champions League football in the bag anyway.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's nice.
No, but they still want to win it.
But regardless, bro, whether you win it or not, like the outcome is not like there's not really much on the line. Like I know it's a cut, but
What do you think that's how they felt, John, when they played Arsenal in the Europa League final?
Yeah, bro. I remember that game, and I feel like the pressure on Arsenal was like, if you don't win this, you got nothing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We were relaxed. Did they win the league? No, they didn't win the league that year. I don't
Chelsea?
know what happened. Yeah,
No, Chelsea did. They already qualified for Champions League.
there you go. So yes, job's done. This is like a friendly now. It might as well be a friendly. And, yeah, like they turned us over. Was it 4-1? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Something like that.
It's a
But
crazy
when the
result.
pressure's on, that's the thing with pressure. It's like when it's on you, sometimes it's difficult to perform, man. It is difficult. Like, it happened to Real Madrid against us this season. You know, we beat them, 3-1? Was it 3-1 or 3-0 in the first leg?
3-0.
3-0. But it's a big thing to come back from. You're in front of your home fans. They've been talking about remontada. And then it's like, okay, now deliver. Go on, do it. It's hard, bro. It's difficult. So
yeah, it's difficult.
I get it from Arsenal. Not acceptable, but I get it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Moving on. 2025 Unity Cup made its reappearance, Malx. You went to the games.
Yeah.
Or the final, I should say. I was going to say, given the 21-year gap since the last Unity Cup, because I remember it back at uni days, bro.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And it was so crazy. It was so random. Like, I literally, I think the morning of the finals, when I bought the tickets, I was trying to get the Brentford website went down, but I managed to secure some for me and my son. So we went down there, obviously put on our scarves and whatever, dressed them up in green and that. But yeah, I just want to say it was a brilliant vibe. It was kind of a carnival atmosphere. Everybody was out. And the actual game was really good. Like, it's really hotly contested. Like, the Jamaica players, they didn't want to lose. Obviously, the Nigeria team, you had a few stars in there. You had like Wilfred Ndidi, Onyeka that was at Brentford. You had Chukwemeka, who's I think AC Milan.
Yeah, that's right.
Moses Simon. So it wasn't. I wouldn't say it's top tier Nigeria team, but it was a good enough team. So it's really front and back in terms of every time Nigeria scored, Jamaica scored, and it was 2-2, went to penalties. And to be quite honest, in those scenarios, it's just like the crowd, the banter is just amazing. You know, people kind of take
good vibes.
So dope vibes. Son loved it. Only thing I would say is just the whole stadium, like, stank of weed. Like, the whole thing. And it's not from I'm not trying to stereotype or nothing, because obviously everyone smokes from the whole world. But it was just like, it's just kind of like it because obviously I'm in a Premier League stadium, but it's smelling of weed. So my head was just like I was like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? But obviously it added to the whole vibe, and obviously barbecue and everything. But yeah, for me, the quality of the game was the most important, and both teams wanted it. And tackles are flying in. You know, couple fights, not fights, but, you know, handbags at dawn, if you like to call it that. So everybody wanted it. So looking forward to the next one. They definitely should. I wouldn't say every year, make it every 2 years, maybe every 3 years, whatever. But
not every 21 years, bro.
No, 21 is crazy. I think I even went to the one 21 years ago, but I can't actually remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, we were back in uni when they last played the Unity Cup. Bro. That's how long ago
it was. It was actually a good quality game. I don't know the names of the Jamaica players, but I know the captain, number 3, he was awesome. Number 8 was really bossing it in the middle of the pitch. But yeah, all you want to see is a good quality game, and I think the fans got that, as well as penalty drama. So it was a really good day out for me and my son. Yeah.
It's interesting to see Steve McLaren in that Jamaica dugout. You know, it always confuses me.
Yeah, it was a sunny day, so he looked like he was plastered in a lot of like suntan lotion, even though we were in West London. So it just a sunny day, so it just had that vibe about it, and it was, maybe I was high as well from the fumes as well, but it just felt like I was watching a match in another country. So yeah, it was a really good day out, really good.
Wicked, nice vibes. All right, cool. Before we round this up, let's quickly go through everyone's back pages.
Yeah.
The back pages is where we shine light on. It could be a team, could be a player, could be a manager that we think stood out this past couple of weeks. Doesn't even have to be football. Could be any sport. If I start with you, Della, so I'm guessing there's only one team, one man you're gonna mention.
Yeah, one team, 2 men actually, but I can't remember the second guy's name. Obviously, Luis Enrique for being amongst the elite for winning treble twice with 2 different teams. And obviously everyone knows his story about his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So he won it for her. But also his assistant, I can't remember his name now, but he lost his wife
Yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think it was more recent. I think it was 6 months ago.
How is it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
really
it's more recent.
Oh wow, yeah. So I think it was written for them in it. Like teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, it was never going to be their time in it based on that story. So yeah, back pages goes to Enrique and his assistant.
Yeah, Paul. I think it was Paul, innit? Raphael
copy.
Paul. Yeah, and the thing is as well, you say PSG as well, like in terms of it was the year the underdogs in terms of winning cups, like in terms of teams that haven't won cups before. So
I'm glad you added that because I don't think PSG are an underdog, bro. To be honest.
Well, yeah, in terms of when I say in terms of like a PSG, a Champions League cup, bro.
Yeah.
A new winner.
Yeah, new winner for sure. What about you, Jon Boy? What's your back? Who's your back page?
I will go for Désiré Doué, man, because I think he had a exceptional for the age for 19. To have such an exceptional Champions League campaign, and to do what he did in the semi-final, and then the final. I got a big amount, man, because not many 19-year-olds are going to be doing that anytime soon. Was it 2 goals? Was it 2 goals and an assist?
Yeah,
crazy in the Champions League final. Him, and I think the second goal, very well taken goal. He had a great performance. I would have also bigged up Dembélé as well, because I think although he didn't score in the final, is just the work rate. It astounded me, man. Like, just the intensity that he was doing them sprints on the keeper every single time he had the ball. Anyone had the ball was chasing it down. And just the fact that he's turned his story from not rags to riches, but he's gone from he's had a tough time at Barca, come to PSG, listen to the manager, got his head down, and now they're talking about him as Ballon d'Or candidate. Yeah, big him up because two exceptional players, 2 exceptional performances.
Yeah. So on the you say Désiré Doué. I was listening to something today. They said France have Désiré Doué, Spain have Yamal. Then they said England have ? Who's England's equivalent to them man there?
Well,
Max Dowman.
We're talking
Max
about
Dowman, isn't it?
But that man, he can't. We can't say
the reason why we can't even put anyone in that category because no one's Yamal's 17, 16, 17?
Yeah, 17. Yeah.
17. 19.
Under 20.
There's no one. I guess you'll be looking at how old's Cole Palmer?
He's young. Palmer, I think Palmer's 20.
Yeah, he's probably like 21.
He's not young. Like, we're talking about teenagers, man. Them man would be in England. There would be one would just first year of uni, one would be second year of college, maybe.
23 Palmer,
it's
so
ridiculous the age of what they're doing. There's no one in England that's comparable to what those guys are doing.
But the funny thing. The funny thing, there is a player in England who has ability at that level, but with England, just the system, they put reins on players. You don't let players go. It's just I think it's a systematic thing where we just hold players back until we really. You have to be like a grown man like Rooney, who really just can't rap. In the UK, they've really got to know that you can do it, and that's why the UK suffers sometimes in terms of players. So
it does. I really want to say Ethan Waneri.
Yeah. But, I would say him.
He ain't played enough games. He hasn't done it at the level that the man are doing it. Not even.
Yeah, he hasn't, man.
He has. But that brings me to the point I was saying earlier about the league in Spain versus the league in England, and that's I'm being very careful in how I say this. But as much as great Yamal, do you think he could have replicated what he's doing in Spain in England at his stage, or do you think he still needs? Because obviously in England it's more athletic. It's more athletic.
Yeah, more physical. Yeah. As well.
Hence why I think Ethan hasn't really played as much games. I think he hasn't. His body's not acclimatized to playing the local game. So if you move those players from the French league from the Spanish league to the Prem, are they replicating exactly what they're doing?
Maybe not exactly. But the skill, classes, whatever that's saying is,
not exactly the same.
Yeah. So I don't think they're replicating exactly to the T, but they're still. I mean, those left foot, in-swing, shots that how Lamau Yamal scores. He's doing that. Like you can't stop him. You can't stop them, right?
The only thing I'll say with Yamal and stuff is that he's done it also on like a Euros kind of level. He's done it on so he's kind of been up against those kind of players, like a mixture of players.
For sure.
So he is a special talent.
Yeah. He is. I think
England, like you said, England's a good one, because I don't think there's like a starlet out there that we're seeing blow up on the scene.
I'll give it to Ethan. I'll give it to Ethan. I'll give it to him.
Not yet.
I mean, okay, he's not at that level, but if they just let him go, I think he can get to it. I think
but he needs to show it. That's all he does. He needs to just show it.
It's about getting that time, man. It's about getting that time. I don't know if he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
He might get at Man United though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go. No player in their right mind is going Man United. No player in their right mind is going Man United. When they're
all your youth players are going, man.
But what I would say is that Yamal, I would say so Stella, you're saying if they put them in the Prem, would they do it? Is that what you're asking?
So say that again.
You're saying if we put those guys in the Prem, would they be able to do it?
Would they be able to replicate exactly what they've done in these other leagues, or do you think they will just give you bits and pieces?
I think Yamal, I think his dribbling, his agility, he's quite solid on not solid, but he's on the ball. He's like Messi, isn't it? I'm not big, I'm not massively strong, but he ain't not gonna get the ball off me. I think he's got that quality, and I think doing what he does, I think he'll be able to do it in the Prem.
I think so.
Doué, I've got a bit more of a question mark over him. I know I picked him up, but I'm not sure if he's at the same level. I think Doué at the moment is got a lot of confidence. He's playing the system that really suits him. He's got a manager that really backs him. And he's just thriving. I don't know whether that would translate 100% to the Prem.
He definitely needs to show a bit more.
Yeah, I think
to transfer that to the Prem. But he's got all that. He's got all the attributes. But again, Prem is a different kettle of fish. But Malx, what about your back pages?
Yeah, back pages. I guess Johnny stole my one. It was Dembele, but I'm going to give a special mention to my man who drove the car into the crowd in Liverpool, because how you get a GBH sentence, what I believe was attempted murder, get reduced down to a GBH charge. There's got to be some sort of inquiry into that, and it's a bit of a political one, but it's a back page mention for in a negative light, but someone needs to look into that, because
is that confirmed or what he's wanting to get, or that's confirmed that's what he did get? Is that
they're reducing it to a GBH charge, and I'm just like, how? Like, do you see that big guy he flipped over? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Nuts.
So
there's not a terrorist attack this time.
Special mention to his lawyer, because that is a madness. That is, because I don't want to get political, but
But the judicial system in this country, I don't know. Let me not say anymore. For me, I mean, obviously, you guys mentioned all the obvious ones, but I still go to a PSG player that I feel like probably goes a bit under the limelight, but Donnarumma, the keeper, like his saves throughout the competition. I think especially even against like Arsenal, like against some big saves.
Big saves against them.
Yeah.
Big saves.
Yeah, big saves. Even I think even Aston Villa as well. Like big he's saves. Kept PSG in it, and he's got them to the final. And I mean, the final for him was probably relatively light work, but I think he done all his hard work paid off. And in the end, it was a sweet victory for him as well.
Yeah. But it goes to show them what having a good goalkeeper can do for you, innit? Like, because I think imagine you replace Donnarumma with Onana, like
Donnarumma with Onana.
PSG nowhere near a final.
$1 million a week.
Arsenal scored 7 goals against PSG in that game.
Yeah.
So man, great keeper. And like you said, had nothing to do in the final, but a great campaign overall.
Defo. Brilliant. All right, cool. That's the end of this episode, Podcast Pundits. You've been rocking with us. Big shout out to Malx and Jon Boy, special guests on the pod, and Della for celebrating PSG's win. I know he was loving that.
I'm just
Man
amazed
City
that this
next
guy's
week,
got
yeah?
every time a team wins a trophy, this guy's got a kit. How you doing?
Oh,
it?
I had Inter Milan upstairs, so it was.
Underneath.
It was a
Fair enough.
win-win either way.
Oh.
Cool.
Right,
Cool. We're out and lock in same time, same place next week. Peace.
That's fine, guys.